One clear line beats 1,000 confusing words every single time. AI made simple. I'm Steve ROI Brown. You're here because you want to get clear. You're here because you're learning how to use Notebook LM to judo chop your messaging to communicate clearly. So today we're talking about the one clear line framework. So today you're going to learn a graphic guide to distilling complexity with AI. So this is how to use Notebook LM. So there's a thing, you've heard of an elevator pitch. It's the one clear line. It's the one thing that stops the brain of the folks you're talking to. You get asked all the time, what do you do? You have to explain your business. You have to explain your nonprofit. You're a salesperson. And you need to communicate clearly. One clear line beats 1,000 confusing words. So how do we get that one clear line, that elevator pitch? What's the big deal about one clear line? So that elevator pitch, that one-liner, it's often called, is a way to communicate the essence of your whole comprehensive service or product or outcome when people engage with you. So, the three pillars of a great line, it's got 8 to 15 words. You want this super short. You want it to be punchy. You want it to be memorable. People don't remember what you say. They remember how you feel. And so to be able to grab everyday language, you're too close to your subject. You're using jargon. You're talking about all the features and functions and certifications and anything that sounds that would give you authority. You try to pack that into that, but that's going to confuse. So what you want to do is to use everyday language, and you want people, when they hear whatever your one-liner is, they need to be thinking, yeah, exactly. That's what I feel. That's me. And it needs to be in your voice. It's got to sound like your natural self, and you're remaining professional, but you're not being over professional. So that's the power of one clear line. So when we're talking about how do we do this? How do we implement this one clear line framework? So, you only have 10 seconds before the brain starts to wander off. Especially nowadays, you're being attacked. You're right now, while I'm talking, you're getting pings from your phone. You're getting emails. You're getting notifications. There's all these things going on. Your dog's barking. The doorbell's ringing. The kids are asking you questions. There's just a lot of things going on in our lives, and you can just buy 10 seconds and land that one clear line, then you've done something amazing. But oftentimes, this is the hardest thing, and that's why you see leaders who have this down. That's why they have a competitive advantage. And how do you get it down? Well, you just go through a deliberate process. That's all they did. That's the only difference between you and the leaders thought leaders that you like to follow, the books that you've read, the videos, the YouTubers. They've worked and distilled their message, and they made it into one clear line. That's why you appreciate it. And so, is it a superpower? It gives you a superpower, but it's not a superpower to get this done. It's just a framework. Okay. So here's what you're fighting against. You got a brain. The human has a brain, and I call it a bodyguard. You have a bodyguard that is protecting you and protecting your attention. And so it's filtering all the messaging coming at it like a bodyguard. And it's looking around and what makes sense, what is safe, and what it can allow you to spend a little more focus time. So that's the number one, the human algorithm, the natural intelligence. You have that fighting against you, okay? And we suffer from cognitive overload. And so what are we looking for? Just give me one memorable line that just helps me understand all the details. My brain will do the rest. But the other nowadays we have two bodyguards. Now it's the AI search engine bodyguards that are looking at your content, looking at your message, and it's doing the same thing. If you're ambiguous, if it's generic, if it's the same thing that every other AI um, content generator produces, then again, that artificial intelligence brain is going to block, is not going to include it in the aggregated answer that it brings back for this person with a natural intelligence to discern, to go through the synopsis. Okay. So that's what you're fighting against. And that's the modern business landscape. And that's what this framework overcomes. So the one clear line framework. So we're going to take all this messy information that you have sitting around. We're going to run it through an engine, and it's going to spit out the information that you need to clearly land on your one clear line. So you have all sorts of information sitting around. You've got customer reviews, you've got sales notes, you've got maybe you took notes, maybe you had sales calls, you've got call transcripts. In these resources, these are beautiful. Data is the gold of our day, and you have a ton of data. You have a ton of very specific, persuasive. You have your opinions baked in this. You have your unique perspective. You have your why you do everything. This is all laying around. This is why I call them golden nuggets. You have them all laying around in here. And what you do is you create a new notebook in Notebook LM, and you upload all of this messy stuff into the source side, the source documents of Notebook LM. And what are we going to do? We're going to run it through this thing that's going to chew it up and spit it out in nice, polished ways. Imagine, gold mining. You ever see what do they do? They take this dirt, the silt in the water, and that you just see this sand floating around. And what do? They swirl it around to reveal these golden nuggets. And that's what Notebook LM, it's that gold mining pan. So we're going to be able to, from all these resources, and I'm going to show you how to craft 8 to 10 one-liners to look through and test with your customers and see which one starts landing. It's hard to do this because you're too close to your subject. So here's your power trick, okay? Inside a Notebook LM, has a tool called Audio Overview. Now, Notebook LM is a extremely well-tuned storytelling engine. They programmed it to create content from those sources in a story framework. Why story framework? Well, it's what our brains crave. Our brains crave information formatted in honoring the rules of story. And that's how we all of a sudden turn off your bodyguard, goes, this content's formatted in a story format. You're safe here because it's not going to waste your time. And that's what Notebook LM does. So you're going to pop your secret power here is to ask the audio overview to go through all those sources. So it's going to generate an audio overview focusing on the value delivered. This is a prompt you're going to give this audio overview. Just ask it to focus on the value delivered to your ideal customer profile, your ICP. Your ideal customer profile is the prospect that loves what you do. They really like you. They really recommend you. They value you. Well, that's your ideal customer profile. Okay. So if you're asking this tool to go and look through all of your content, you've uploaded all your sources, like we talked about in the previous slides here. You uploaded all of these. Now you're asking it to audit all of this and to focus on the value delivered to your ideal customer profile. This is your superpower tool that's going to sift through all of this. And then you're going to listen to these AI hosts. They discuss that value, and that they talk about it in a naturally punchy phrasing um, a way. And that audio overview is generating a transcript, actually. And you're going to download that transcript. You're going to upload that transcript back in there. And then you're going to expect it to refine the best lines from this purified natural language source data. So what do? We upload your messy documents. We ask the AI, the audio overview, to go through it and then generate this transcript in this natural language with these punchy lines. And then we brought that back in as a source. And now we're focusing on there, and we're going to do just like that gold panning. We're going to use that. It basically washed out a bunch of confusing words, and now we have a purified natural language source data. So when we're doing this, here's the prompt. You're going to put this in that prompt. So over to the right in the asset side, imagine when we look at Notebook LM, we've got three areas. We got our source documents to the left. We have our chat conversation in the middle. And then on the right, that's where we generate all of our storytelling-based assets, visual and audio. It's amazing. But here's what you're going to do. You're going to give it this prompt. Explain the core value we deliver to our ICP and generate sharp one-liners. And then you're going to download that audio overview. You're going to download the generated transcript from there. And you're going to add it back into the notebook as a new source. And then you're going to ask the AI to refine the best lines from that transcript to final one-liners. So why this works, it captures the natural essence from those audio overviews. If you haven't listened to them, you should. It's really amazing how it really captures the essence and the intent of why you do what you do. And then it brings it out because they're not too close to your subject. That's called the curse of knowledge, by the way. That doesn't have the curse of knowledge because you have all this jargon that you not naturally say. Well, it's going to let that wash out, and it's going to help you build a stronger foundation from these transcripts. So let me show you an outcome from this. So this is what I've done from this actual conversation we're having today in preparation for that. Here's an example of the one-liners that it produced using this same prompt right here. So I asked it to give me 10 of the best, most punchy one-liners pulled directly from the transcript that capture the essence of the one clear line framework. So great leaders don't just speak, they deliver one line that makes everything click. One clear line beats 1,000 confusing words every single time. One line acts as the skeleton key. It unlocks a prospect's understanding instantly, completely, bypassing their natural language skepticism. So you can see now you have all of a sudden. Here's a great one. It's like we're handing the prospect a barrel of crude oil, but the prospect doesn't have the time or the energy to refine your message for you. That's why you have to go through this exercise. This is excellent, but we don't have to accept these as are. But my goodness, now we've got a whole bunch of content that we can work and build upon and test with our audience. So that's what that looks like when you go through this one clear line framework. So what are we doing? I love this image. And again, when we're talking about the storytelling powers of Notebook LM, look at this. Just in this image, it gives you an image of the intent. It shows a piece of metal on an anvil. It shows the um, hammer working on that metal. You've watched people make swords, and then it comes out with a sharp sword. So that's the refining process that you're taking your data through when you use this framework. So, here's some tips. Don't blindly accept the raw AI outputs. Take the strongest lines and shape them until they sound exactly like you. Find the best three lines from that exercise. So here we have 10. I asked it to give me 10. I could have asked it to give me more, but my two, obviously, number two, I just think nails it right here. Number one is a great line. And then I really like that comparison to handing people um, a barrel of crude oil and expecting them to refine it. We have to do that work for them, don't we? And so you rewrite these in your natural voice while keeping them punchy and memorable. And now we're starting to land on SuperPie in just a matter of time. Companies pay thousands of dollars and bring teams in to do this exercise. And here, this framework allows you to do it yourself. And you can spend a little bit of time, an hour, and land on something that's extremely good. So a forged weapon is meant to be deployed. Now, how are you going to use these? You're going to use them in your next cold email, your next live sales pitch, your social media post. That's where your website. So clarity is the only metric that survives the two filters of our modern time: the brain, everyone's bodyguard, the natural intelligence algorithm filter, right? And also the artificial intelligence algorithm filter. That's what this process, this framework sets you up for success and gives you a competitive advantage. Why? Because we're landing on an emotional output. Back to this here. We're landing on, what do people remember? They don't remember what you say. They remember how you made them feel. And that is why you need to invest the time into landing on a powerful one-liner. It needs to evoke an emotion. And this becomes a memorable thing that differentiates you from all of the noise that your prospects are being bombarded with every single day. This is what they look like. But when they run into you and this emotion connects with them, guess what they feel? They feel that they're understood. They feel that you get them. They feel safe moving forward and working with you. That's the whole reason you do this exercise. So one clear line beats 1,000 confusing words. So if you find these episodes powerful, if you find them helpful, like it, like this. Some other folks run into it. Subscribe. Share this with your friends or your folks in your industry that are struggling with this similar problem. And my QR code up here, this QR code takes you to our resources, and sign up for Notebook LM. Go through this exercise, upload your materials, work through it, follow the framework, and we'll see you next time on another episode of AI Made Simple. And that's a wrap.